Hi, everybody. It's Friday, the 25th of August, 2023. Please remember, especially someone that goes by the stupid pen name S.A. Sunshine. She's got a bunch of black cats as her avatar. I don't do tarot cards. I'm a clairvoyant, clairaudient. I don't need to use tarot cards. Or terror cards, as she puts it. Terror. So, little S.A. Sunshine, goodbye. If you're going to keep up with this nonsense, you might be the #1 on the block list. Yeah, go back to your little Elvis cult, Elvis worshiping cult, your pro-Bidenomic crap. Goodbye. Get lost. I'm willing to take the hit on numbers, so I don't need your crap. Yeah, I'm not afraid of calling people out. Or you belong to, I suspect, who you are associating with. Yeah, remember, I'm a clairvoyant, clairaudient. Yeah, psychic. I've been doing this all my life, so get lost, you little loser. Yeah, I know, you need the ego validation, so this is your one and only shot. Goodbye! Okay, I've been getting a bunch of emails pertaining to Maui and all that nonsense. It's not nonsense, but people who've been watching me know what I mean. I would like go over and visit Squirrel Tribe. Yes, and yeah, Squirrel Tribe. You know, like the little gray and red squirrels that are all over the place. Go check her out because she has done some extremely fantastic, in-depth digs on what happened in Maui, and she's a straight shooter. So go over, check her out, okay? I know Mystical Fortunes, she's been doing a lot on Henry and Rachel, so check her out. An email that I got, they're asking me about Vivek. Okay, I admit it, I have not taken the time to watch what I call the vice presidential debate last night. I know, yeah, what is it? Chris Christie and Tim Scott and Vivek and Mike Pence and some chick, and I'm like, whatever. People are already asking me about stuff. I've seen a little bit about Vivek, and oh yeah, he's like, oh, my family was immigrants. Yeah, we have to be tougher on this, this, and this. I need to do some further digging. I'm getting a hunch that his parents or grandparents came over here and they used this loophole in the government immigration stuff, where if you come over and start a business, you're able to bring over your complete family legally as immigrants. And we've all seen Subway, sandwich shops, gas stations, 7-Elevens, where a couple guys come over, they buy the franchise, the next thing you know, their wives are brought over, their kids are brought over, their parents are brought over, both sets of parents, plus then the grandmothers and the aunts and uncles. So one guy could possibly bring over 100 people because that's his immediate family, and he needs his immediate family to help him with the store. How many times have you gone in a gas station and you see this lady like between 70 and death running the cash register? Yeah. That's what happens with a lot of immigrants from the subcontinent. Okay, so we need to do more digging on Vivek. Right now, my gut is still leaning towards Scott. The one speech he gave, he shot from the hip, and he said, listen, I was raised by my grandfather. My grandfather went out and picked cotton. Scott was taught about a hard day's work and what it is to really be a hardworking American. Hey, I remember my dad talking that, hey, as a kid, he had to go out and pick cotton. Yeah. So those of us who are the descendants of men who went out and picked cotton in the hot sun, We're a hell of a lot tougher, and we stand for no bullshit. So right now, I'm leaning towards Scott. Okay? Pence is part of that Chapeau Blanc crowd, which, be careful. Because they say, oh, they're the good guys, but all they are is feeding you the propaganda you want to hear. They have an ulterior motive that is just as bad as the World Economic Forum, World Health Organization. Yeah. The Chapeau Blancs want people to get in line in their good deeds. No. The Chapeau Negro and Chapeau Blancs, both are bad. Okay? Okay, now we're seeing the country of Iran is now being enticed to join the BRICS group. Well, let's put it this way. They're playing nice with Iran, but in reality, Vlad does not want Islamic extremists in Russia. They're being nice with Iran for the oil, but they're not. They're going to keep a tight leash on their ayatollahs. Yeah, I was in Iran up until September of '79, packing boxes, helping people get shit packed up to get it out of the country. Okay. The religious extremists are now between the ages of 50 and 70. They're running the country. They're trouble. They're nasty. They don't like women. And the young generations that are between the ages of 15 and 30 are rebelling against all the restrictions. That's why we are hearing so many stories coming out of Iran of young women who go out with their head uncovered and are then attacked by the mullahs and then cross over the Rainbow Bridge under very questionable circumstances while they're at the police station. Yeah. So, we don't want Iran and BRICS. We want, but Vlad is smart. Okay, let's get him under the control and we'll control the mullahs. That's the reasoning behind it. A, the oil. B, to control them because they're the instigators of a lot of this Islamic nastiness. Okay. The other thing that's been all over the frickin' headlines. We know Donald had to go down and deal with the demon quack crap in Georgia. Go back to the history of the state of Georgia. Georgia was started out as a colony, a British colony, as a dumping ground for the debtors' prison. Yes. Georgia, people back in the 1600s, 1700s, before 1776, to clear out the debtors' prisons in Great Britain, they had the opportunity to sit in the debtors' prison in England or be shipped off to the colony of Georgia. Yes, it was named for King George. So, the colony of Georgia became the state of Georgia, and it has a long lineages of bloodlines of people who are unscrupulous, don't have any scruples, unethical. It's a state founded on criminals. So this Fannie Willis, hey, I could, basically, and that other cracker who was the grand jury foreman, my God, look at her. You can tell she's probably what the Appalachians call blue blood because she's so inbred. Yeah, let's look at the DNA list on Fannie Willis. Let's see how much African blood she really has. I know, I'm getting snarky, but hey, deal with it. You don't like it? Goodbye. Yeah, so the state of Georgia has always been known to be descendants of a criminal element. So what do you expect? They're going to pull crap all over the place. I know friends that moved down there for film work and couldn't wait to get the hell out. Yeah, definitely couldn't wait to get the hell out of Georgia. And all these good Republicans that are bailing out of Florida because of Ronnie D, they're all going to South Carolina, Tim Scott's state. They're bypassing Georgia because Georgia is known to be a scam artist state. Take a look at Tyler Perry. I had my own run-in with that ass. He tried to intimidate me, and I'm like, no way, dude. Read your own paperwork, okay? Now I did catch a glimpse. It's like good old General Milley. He's another traitor. We should nominate him for the Benedict Arnold Society. Yeah, he's going on and talking about how, yeah, well, the Ukraine is going to be getting a bunch of F-16s. Well, let's put it this way. Is the Z guy, the comedian, stand-up comic, doesn't have the infrastructure to maintain those jets. They're going to be used one time. Next time, they're not going to pass the pre-flight inspection. It's a joke. Absolute joke. But what they're doing is they're lining it up because NATO does want a WW3. And they're using Ukraine as a staging area for equipment. Those of us in the know, as long as we keep screaming bloody murder, it won't happen, but we have to keep screaming. Yeah, we have to. Now, some people, a lot of people are now having a fit because, okay, we all know Screen Actors Guild, AFTRA, Writers Guild, they're all out on strike. And people are starting to panic. Oh my God, we're not going to have anything new to watch. FYI, prime example. Mel Gibson's movie, Sound of Freedom. It sat on a shelf for over 5 years collecting dust. When they released it is right after everybody went out on strike. So what you don't realize is that the studios, the major distribution houses, have product, some of it as old as 20 years, sitting on shelves waiting to be distributed. So they're going to release stuff in drips and drabs. Okay, as soon as Sound of Freedom and Indy Jones made as much money as possible, that's when they released Barbie and Oppenheimer. As soon as those two big ones start dropping off in numbers, they're going to release something else. They're going to release a major studio big budget thing that they have on the shelf, delayed release, and they're going to come up with an indie flick so they can put that out. So there's a lot of product. I mean it, this strike could go on for at least 24 months and they wouldn't run out of product to keep releasing into the big theaters. It's just going to be a limited selection. Instead of having half a dozen brand new movies coming out every other week, you're going to have 2 movies coming out every 4 weeks. They have plenty of product. So stop panicking, people. And they'll do like they did the last time. They'll write up contracts that are for that production only instead of a blanket contract. Yeah, Screen Actors Guild is not going to kill themselves. They're not going to be shooting themselves in the foot. they are going to allow to have independent contracts written up for each movie for the talent. And there's so many scripts sitting around that have already been written and purchased. So the studios have product. They can write up separate contracts. And yes, production is still happening. Yeah, I do know that for a fact. A friend of mine who's a DP, yeah, he's working on something for Netflix. They expect by the time they get through with post-production, it'll be up in February. They also delayed one of his projects. NBC Paramount, which I think is Comcast. He filmed this thing in, 22? And they have it on the shelf so they can release it in about 4 months. They've had it sitting, product ready to distribute, ready to put on the channel. They said they have to hold on to it because they want something to die down. No, they knew the strike was coming. And he told me that they'll finally release it in time for the winter holidays. They held on to it. They had it sitting on by the time it's released, would have been on the shelf for 12 months. So that's what they're doing. There's plenty of product. Okay, something else I caught. India's Prime Minister Modi, he's in talk with Gigi of the Big Red Sea. Yeah, they want to really, the Big Red Sea basically is starting to put pressure on India because there's a little section of land that's actually a border to the Big Red Sea. India and the Big Red Sea share a common border. The Big Red Sea wants India to stop having it heavily armed. Basically, they want India to open up a gateway for a military invasion. Yes. And also the stuff going on with, yeah, where's my note on it? Yeah, the Big Red Sea is also going into Bangladesh. The former Bangladesh at one time was part of India. And then when they did the separation of the Hindi from the Muslims, okay, Bangladesh became West Pakistan. And then after years of trying to be one country on opposite sides of the country of India, Bangladesh became its own country. It went from being called West Pakistan, to Bangladesh. Well, now Bangladesh is being quietly invaded by the Big Red Sea to be a Big Red Sea satellite nation. Okay, folks, most of your 800 phone calls and scam phone calls come out of call centers in Bangladesh. A lot of mass market clothing, like at Wally World, manufactured Bangladesh. Big Red Sea is doing a silent takeover of the country. Keep watching. More shit will hit the fan. Oh, the other one now is, okay, when I started hearing it, I kept hearing the voice of Ashley. Dear, sweet Ashley. Most everyone knows her as Danger Zone. She and I had a special connection. If anybody is familiar with the movie Band of Brothers, you'll know that guys who served in the same military branches during World War II, they became like brothers to each other. They had each other's backs. Well, you could say Ashley and I, we were Air Force cousins, because actually my dad was there with Ashley's grandfather. And back when I was young, yeah, we used to have to fly in and out of the same Air Force base in Europe, where Ashley's dad was stationed and Ashley was living, so we kind of we connected that, and we're like, oh my God, our dads more than most definitely cross paths. So we were joking around, yeah, we're Air Force cousins. And when I started seeing these news clips about the Wagner guy, Prigozhin, and his plane going boom, I just heard Ashley's voice going, Patton's car crash. What did they that plane going up was actually, it happened because they had to hide something big time. Just like how General Patton was killed in a car crash. That car crash did not need to happen for General Patton. And yeah, Ashley and I had heard the same stories about it from being in a military family. You hear, as a little kid, you hear stories. You might be at the coffee table in the living room with a coloring book and crayons while the parents are sitting at the dining room table. We learned to be quiet and color, but listening to every single word. We soaked up a shitload of information. So yeah, something funny happened with General Patton's car crash. And it's kind of like the same questionable tactic that happened with this Wagner plane going up. Remember, Vlad is old KGB. He is so smart, and he knows what to watch out for and what's going on. So it wouldn't surprise me that if Prigozhin and his guys weren't even on that plane, and that plane had nobody on board but took off via remote control. Yeah, something wouldn't surprise me. Those guys might be at some little campground in Siberia under a 24-hour watch. But I have a feeling, I get the gut feeling nobody was lost in that plane explosion. It was that plane took off via remote control, and the so-called occupants are now in definite isolation. Okay? Now, okay, it's been released that the Achilles heel of Rishi Sunak has been exposed. Yeah, like a dumb idiot. He put a lot of stuff in his wife's name. His wife technically owns a bunch of shares in corporations that have contracts with the British government. The Achilles heel. It will bring him down fast. Yeah. I think there's going to be a new prime minister. I was saying before, Charles would have, within his first year, would have at least 3 PMs. So, Sunak's downfall, he's going to, once this really hits the big mass media and it's really blown out, he'll be forced to resign. Yeah, because his wife, he put corporation shares under his wife's name, and all those corporations got contracts to do work for the British government while he was prime minister. It's going to go up. Now, Italy is now saying knock it off. Just the other day, they had over 500 North Africans invade one of the islands, one of the small Italian islands. Unfortunately, they now come in daylight, because at nighttime, the rat-a-tat-tats make sure they don't get onto the island. But yeah, some stuff is going to be there. Italy is start saying, hey, why we tossed millions of euros to Libya and Tunisia, why don't you keeping these people out? Well, what they're doing is Libya and Tunisia know that these migrants are troublemakers. They're basically an Islamic army, jihadists. And what they do is they drive them back out into the desert and dump them off. And the people are saying, oh, that's inhumane treatment. No, it's a nice, easy way to get rid of these jihadists. I mean, just the other day, I was walking down the sidewalk to go someplace, and I counted 6 little girls. It's 90-degree heat, dressed in all black. Only you could see their eyes. I looked at them, and I called them all little mafemuchs. I told them, you're in the United States. Assimilate. Yeah, some little boy tried to bully me. I looked at him. I go, excuse me? Hey, idiot. I was raised in Jeddah. He's like, well, what's that? I go, look it up. He's like, oh, why should I? I go, maybe you'll learn something? Yeah, I call and bitch out a lot of things. Yes, yes. It's kind of funny. Now, our favorite Swede. Yeah, there's a lot of people now starting to get angry. As more and more truth gets leaked out about the whatchamacallit and the people who are getting sick from it. Already in the UK, because they didn't make people sign certain documents, one of the pharmaceutical companies is now getting sued for wrongful death. Yeah, that's happening in the UK. Unfortunately, a lot of shyster lawyers got involved, and anyone who had to get the whatchamacallit here in the States, basically, they had to sign a document stating, yeah, they are willingly accepting this experimental liquid, and should something go bad, they will not hold the pharmaceutical company or the government liable. And when you see that, you know you're a guinea pig. But most people don't. A lot of people are good little lemmings, just like there were so many good little Germans who let things happen. But yeah, even now, the comedian Rob Schneider is calling out the idiots. I'll have to Google his routine to see what he actually says. But yeah, check out our favorite Swede. He spilled a lot of beans. Okay. Now, okay, it's people are going up and questioning, why should Prince Andrew have taxpayer, like the regular Brits, pay for his security? It's supposed to be £3 million a year. People, £3 million isn't that much money any longer. They're saying, but because it's like to pay for his security. Okay, when Andrew is on the properties, taking care of business, being the estate manager of all the crown properties, because Charles is too darn busy. Yeah, there's security. But when Andy is doing certain other things, yeah, they do need somebody with him. He's the brother of the king. He does have a big target on his back, especially because, like I've been saying since I started this channel, certain members of the British royal family, those who always had active military service, if they have the brain cells, ended up going to also work for the British government affiliated with, like, that green building that's shown in the James Bond movies. Andrew went in undercover to find out the truth about the Miami guy. Andrew holds the keys So he does need the security. Yeah, he's busy taking care of the estates for his brother so Charles can focus on other things, the soft diplomacy. Andrew knows the business end. He knows what goes on behind closed doors. Andrew needs the protection. Yes. So stop bitching about it and just let it happen. Now we've got, it's funny, the Elon Musk, because he is following U.S. labor laws. It's ironic. The U.S. government is trying to sue him for not hiring illegal immigrants. Now, I called out a company years ago because it was between me and this guy who held a green card. And I told them, you know, you broke federal labor regulations. If there are two people qualified for the same job, the U.S. citizen is to be hired first, not the dude with the green card. Even though you're trying to fulfill a minority quota? Yeah, some Mexican dude, he had his green card. It was between me and him. He got hired because it fulfilled a minority quota, instead of following federal labor law and hiring me first. U.S. citizens first. Then, if you can't fulfill all the jobs with U.S. citizens, then you can go for green card people. And scrap this illegal immigrant nonsense. Yeah, I know my way around labor law. I changed labor law big time, especially when it comes to hiring halls. Yeah. Let's see. I missed it, but then somebody called me, and then I found a news article on it. I could not believe it. Okay, this past Monday was first day of school for Baboon Johnson for the Chicago Public Schools. Up until he got in, they started the day after Labor Day. Okay? Now he has them starting in the middle of summer. Now, anyone who knows, this past week we've had 90-degree days. Like, just horrible weather. Today it's in the 70s and cloudy. But for the first part of the week, it was like sky-high temperatures. What he was doing on the first day of school, Monday morning, as the kids walked in, they were handing out frozen pizzas. Yeah, these kids had to carry around a frozen pizza all day long. Did the mothers then toss it in the freezer when they got home? Or did they cook it? I wonder how many kids came down with food poisoning because of Baboon Johnson passing out frozen pizzas on Monday morning. Do we have the numbers on how many kids called out sick because of belly aches on Tuesday and Wednesday? Yeah, Baboon, you got your numbers up for that first day of school, but you made sure those kids were sick for the rest of the week. And these kids were going to school in classrooms with no air conditioning. When it's over 90 degrees and all classrooms have big, huge windows, those kids must have been roasting. He's nothing but a puppet for the Chicago Teachers Union, which is basically, let's train our children into being good little communists. Now, last thing I said, yeah, the little twerp who says I read tarot cards. Has anyone ever seen me pull up a tarot card? I'm like, jerk, get lost. Especially with you have sunshine on it. You gotta be a lover of Rachel and Henry. Do you actually work for her old PR company? Yeah, okay, everyone, yeah. It's just been crazy. So yeah, that's about all what I've got for you today. I'll have a video up for you on Sunday. Because I don't know, I might have something going on Sunday. If I do know in advance, I'll put it up on the community page that the video will go up instantly after I finish recording it. I mean, I know I hate having to blow people's schedules out of the water like that, but hey, it's the weekend, and sometimes I might have something. There might be something fun going on Sunday afternoon. So yeah, I'll put it up on the community page, uh, and you'll see what time it goes. If it's going to be an instant pop up on Sunday, but yeah, today's the regular time, 4:30. So everyone have a great day, great weekend. Have fun tonight, tomorrow. Good Shabbos to those who light candles on Friday nights, and I'll be talking with you on Sunday. Bye bye.